When MASH premiered in 1972, it became an unlikely pop culture phenomenon, one that blended biting wit, pathos, and an unforgettable ensemble cast. For over a decade, viewers tuned in to see how a team of doctors, nurses, and support staff coped with life and death in a mobile army surgical hospital set during the Korean War. Even now, the show stirs fond memories for many who recall laughing at the hijinks of Hawkeye and BJ, or feeling moved by the serious moments that reminded us of the fragility of life. Today, we'll reflect on 30 individuals from the world of MASH who have passed away. McLean Stevenson, who brought us the affable Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, was once described by his co-stars as the cast's sunny center. He found humor in nearly every situation, both on and off the set, but reportedly felt overshadowed by the show's rapid success. After leaving MASH, Stevenson pursued other TV projects, though none matched his earlier acclaim. A positive anecdote from colleagues recalls his knack for brightening early morning shoots with fresh donuts and silly jokes. He died in 1996 from a heart attack. His legacy remains that of a warm-hearted actor whose portrayal of Henry Blake reminded us that kindness and laughter can coexist even in the direst circumstances. Larry Linville, forever remembered as Major Frank Burns, gave the show one of its most fascinating antagonists. Despite Frank's cranky and often clueless demeanor, Larry Linville was reportedly gentle-spirited in real life. A castmate once recalled him politely apologizing after scenes where his character had to lash out, saying, "I hope you know that's not really me." Linville left the show after 5 seasons, eager to avoid repeating himself creatively. He died in 2000 from complications of cancer surgery followed by pneumonia. Though Frank Burns was often the butt of the joke, Larry Linville's ability to balance slapstick comedy with genuine vulnerability contributed a vital tension to MASH. Harry Morgan, who played Colonel Sherman T. Potter, was already a familiar face from numerous film and TV roles. His portrayal of Potter, a seasoned officer with a heart of gold, resonated deeply with viewers. Away from the camera, he reportedly prized family above all else and relished quiet afternoons spent painting. Known for his impeccable comedic timing, Morgan would often deliver a stern line only to break into a wide grin between takes, delighting cast and crew alike. He passed away in 2011 from pneumonia. His enduring contribution was showing that authority could be compassionate, and that humor often works best when it's laced with warmth and understanding. Wayne Rogers took on Captain Trapper John McIntyre, offering an easygoing counterbalance to Hawkeye's antics. Despite his friendly portrayal, Rogers reportedly battled network disputes over creative decisions, which eventually led to his departure. Later in life, he surprised fans by building a successful career as an investor and financial commentator, frequently appearing on news programs. One friend recalled that Wayne's inquisitive mind made him just as likely to chat about economics as about show business. He died on the last day of 2015 from complications of pneumonia. Through MASH, he left the image of a cool-headed surgeon who balanced irreverence with a genuine dedication to saving lives. William Christopher portrayed Father Francis Mulcahy, the soft-spoken chaplain whose quiet moral compass anchored the 4077. Off-screen, Christopher was reportedly deeply committed to charitable work, in particular causes supporting autism awareness, inspired by his son. His gentle humor was on display in a story about how he once officiated a fictional wedding on set, then jokingly offered to do the same for a crew member's real ceremony. He died in 2016 from a type of carcinoma, according to reports. His lasting contribution lay in showing that faith, tolerance, and compassion can help us find light in the darkest of times. Edward Winter, unforgettable as the paranoid Colonel Sam Flagg, brought a zany unpredictability each time he appeared. Colleagues say Winter relished playing a character so over the top, though in person he was polite and soft-spoken. He spent much of his later career in guest roles across different television series, never losing the twinkle in his eye that made Flagg so hilariously unhinged. He died in 2001, reportedly from complications related to Parkinson's disease. Fans remember him as the man who proved a comedic villain can energize a scene and add a dash of chaotic fun to an ensemble. Alan Arbus, who played psychiatrist Dr. Sidney Friedman, gave the show a reflective, sometimes poignant tone, reminding everyone that war leaves deep emotional marks. Before acting, Arbus was a fashion photographer with his then-wife, famed photographer Diane Arbus. His shift to performing came relatively late in life, but he earned rave notices for the empathy and wit that he poured into Sidney Friedman. He died in 2013 from congestive heart failure. Many consider his portrayal a testament to how compassion can flourish even amid comedic antics, leaving us with the message, "Ladies and gentlemen, take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice," one of Sidney's most famous lines. John Orchard, known as Ugly John in the show's early episodes, was an Australian actor and a Vietnam War veteran, according to sources. Though his character didn't last long, Orchard was reportedly proud to have contributed to a series that dealt with war in a humanizing way. He died in 1995 from leukemia. Fans who remember him see an Ugly John and everyman presence who showed that no role is too small if it helps paint a fuller picture of camaraderie and care under duress. Timothy Brown, who played Spear Chucker Jones, was also an NFL running back prior to his acting career. Though his stint on MASH was short, Timothy's athletic background gave him a distinct physicality in his role as a doctor. Sources mention he had an infectious laugh that often left the makeup crew giggling. Brown passed away in 2020 from complications reportedly tied to dementia. He left behind the memory of a multi-talented individual who bridged professional sports and acting with grace and good humor. Johnny Hamer, recognizable to fans as Sergeant Zale, contributed memorable comedic beats whenever a supply-related mishap arose. A stand-up comic in his early years, Hamer was known to ad-lib lines that sometimes made it into the final cut. One rumor suggests he once performed a short comedy routine at a rap party that had Alan Alda and Wayne Rogers doubled over with laughter. He died in 1989 from cancer. His presence remains a testament to how even a smaller recurring role can be lovingly remembered by fans when portrayed with sincerity and light-hearted charm. Roy Goldman, who played a corpsman often referred to simply as Goldman, became a kind of in-joke among viewers because he kept popping up throughout the run of the show. Although never a major character, Roy's reliability and humble nature on set reportedly endeared him to castmates. He died in 2009. The exact circumstances of his passing are less publicized, but friends recalled his gentle spirit lasting until the end. His role reminds us that every ensemble member, however unassuming, contributes to a show's authenticity and heart. Marcia Strassman, known to many as Nurse Margie Cutler, had a handful of early appearances on MASH before she gained wider fame in shows like Welcome Back, Kotter. She reportedly spoke warmly of her time on set, crediting it as a launching pad for her confidence in television acting. Marcia died in 2014 after a battle with breast cancer. Friends say her positivity never wavered, and fans remember her as someone who sprinkled a dash of brightness into the 4077th whenever she appeared on screen. Burt Metcalf served as a producer and also made cameo appearances, though he is less recognized as a face and more as a guiding force for MASH. He reportedly encouraged creative risks, including the show's willingness to balance comedy with stark depictions of war. One anecdote has him surprising the cast by allowing them more freedom to improvise, leading to some of the series' most genuine comedic moments. He died in 2022, reportedly from natural causes. His legacy lies in nurturing a culture where a sitcom could also make profound statements about humanity. Andrew Duggan guest starred as various military officials, including the memorable Colonel Buzz Brighton. Known for a host of roles in film and TV westerns, Dugan carried an authoritative presence that fit perfectly into MASH. Colleagues recall he was a consummate professional, showing younger actors the ropes without condescension. He died in 1988 from throat cancer. His appearances on MASH remain a reminder of how guest characters can add depth and realism to a comedic setting. Sorrel Book showed up as General Barker in the early seasons. While he may be more famously remembered as Boss Hogg on The Dukes of Hazzard, Book brought comedic heft to MASH before that. Allegedly, he had a talent for switching from comedic bombast to a fatherly warmth at the drop of a hat, a skill that endeared him to co-stars. He died in 1994 from colorectal cancer. Through his guest appearances, he left us with scenes that highlighted the absurdities of military bureaucracy and the comedic sparks that fly when it clashes with irreverent surgeons. Mary Wickes, known for her sharp-tongued comedic roles, had a cameo that fans of character actors still treasure. She reportedly carried that same zesty wit off-screen, quick to fire off a quip that would leave the set in stitches. She died in 1995 following complications from surgery for a broken hip. Even in her short time on MASH, Mary Wickes illustrated the timeless truth that comedy is often found in a well-timed barb delivered with a twinkle in the eye. Ned Beatty, famous for countless film roles, made a memorable cameo on MASH that showcased his gift for blending humor with a hint of pathos. According to sources, Beatty was a warm presence backstage, known to share behind-the-scenes tidbits from his storied career with curious cast members. He died in 2021 from natural causes. His brief turn on MASH is a small but cherished chapter in a prolific career that brought depth and soul to the screen. Gene Reynolds co-created the television adaptation of MASH and directed several episodes, shaping the show's signature mix of humor and poignancy. He reportedly believed that strong characterization and authentic emotion were the key to any great story, a philosophy that guided MASH from a sitcom into something profoundly human. Reynolds died in 2020 from heart failure. By championing the show's realistic approach, he left a legacy that elevated television comedy into thought-provoking art. Larry Gelbart, also instrumental in developing the series, lent his razor-sharp writing to MASH. Known for his wit on Broadway and in Hollywood, Gelbart often said that the best comedy arises when you're telling people the truth in a way that makes them laugh. His rumored penchant for sneaking subtle jabs at authority into scripts gave MASH its satirical edge. He died in 2009 from cancer. Gelbart's influence remains woven into every wisecrack and heartfelt confession uttered at the 4077th, reminding us that comedy can help us confront harsh realities. Leslie Nielsen, though he only briefly appeared in the series, brought a dry, understated humor that would later blossom in films like Airplane. On set, he reportedly kept a whoopee cushion in his pocket, one of his favorite gags, catching unsuspecting crew members off guard. He died in 2010 from pneumonia. For MASH fans, Nielsen's cameo is a delightful footnote in the career of a man who showed how silliness and sophistication could coexist in comedy. Patrick Swayze, then a relatively unknown actor, appeared in a Season 9 episode as a young soldier facing a devastating medical diagnosis. Cast members allegedly noticed his remarkable focus. Even at that early stage of his career, he brought a keen intensity to his role. He went on to become a beloved leading man in Dirty Dancing and Ghost. Swayze died in 2009 from pancreatic cancer. Though his time on MASH was brief, it reminds us that extraordinary talent can shine even in a single guest role. John Ritter, another future superstar who guested on MASH, played a troubled soldier in an early episode. Known later for his buoyant comedic style on Three's Company, he demonstrated here that he could tap into serious emotion as well. Off-screen, Ritter reportedly charmed the cast with his humility and eagerness to learn. He died suddenly in 2003 from an aortic dissection. His cameo stands as a testament to a young actor brimming with potential, destined to become one of television's most beloved comedians. Sally Kellerman was Hot Lips Houlihan in the 1970 MASH film, and although she wasn't in the TV series as the same character, her association with the franchise remained strong. Known for her smoky voice and unyielding confidence, she allegedly relished telling behind-the-scenes stories of working with Robert Altman. Kellerman died in 2022 from heart failure. Her portrayal in the movie and her subsequent cameo appearances helped set the stage for the series, proving that irreverent comedy could be a potent way to explore the tragedies of war. G. Wood, who played Brigadier General Hammond in both the film and early episodes of the series, is another link between the cinematic and televised MASH. Cast members remembered him as an unassuming gentleman who took pride in having served in the U.S. Army in real life. He died in 2000 from heart failure. His performance bridged two worlds, uniting the movie's pioneering tone with the show's evolving sensibility. Kellye Nakahara, Nurse Kellye, blossomed from a background performer into a fan favorite. Her character's warmth and modest confidence stood out in a camp often brimming with chaos. Nakahara reportedly had a flair for painting, often gifting watercolor pieces to fellow castmates. She died in 2020 after battling cancer. Audiences remember Nurse Kellye for proving that compassion and a quiet smile can speak volumes even in the midst of comedic bedlam. Eileen Saki portrayed Rosie, the no-nonsense proprietress of Rosie's Bar. According to anecdotes, she was quick to feed the crew during late-night shoots, sometimes bringing homemade dishes that reminded everyone of simple comforts. She died in 2023 from pancreatic cancer. Though her appearances were modest, she embodied a sense of everyday resilience, turning Rosie's Bar into a home away from home for both characters and fans. Pat Morita, famous as Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid, appeared in MASH as Captain Sam Peck. On set, he reportedly shared stories of his childhood in Japanese internment camps, highlighting how humor became a coping mechanism during tough times. Morita died in 2005 of kidney failure. Even in cameo form, he left an impression on MASH, showing that empathy and levity are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they often go hand in hand. Soon Taek-oh, a Korean-born American actor, portrayed several roles on MASH, sometimes lending a deeply authentic perspective to stories about local villagers. He was also known as a champion for Asian American representation. He died in 2018 from complications tied to Alzheimer's disease. His work on MASH remains a reminder that diverse voices can enrich a show's tapestry, making its depiction of war-torn Korea more multifaceted and humane. Mako, credited as Mako Iwamatsu, appeared in the original 1970 MASH film as multiple characters across different cuts, and was a legend in Asian American theater. His commanding presence and distinct voice lent gravity to every scene. Mako died in 2006 from esophageal cancer. Whether on stage or in film, he consistently championed nuanced roles for Asian actors, and his contributions to MASH live on as part of that legacy. Alan Melvin, recognized for playing a variety of television characters, including roles on The Andy Griffith Show and The Brady Bunch, popped up in MASH guest spots as well. His booming voice and affable nature made him a standout in comedic ensembles. He died in 2008. Although his time in the 4077th was brief, Melvin's knack for comedic timing underscored the broader principle that each guest star could color the series with their unique humor and warmth. As we remember these 30 individuals, we celebrate more than just a television show. MASH blended comedy and heartache with a depth rarely seen in sitcoms. Each person, from main cast to cameo, helped shape a narrative that endures across generations. While many face challenging roads, be it health battles, career hurdles, or personal grief, each left behind a legacy of dedicated artistry and a testament to the power of laughter, even amid chaos. Perhaps MASH stays so vivid in our collective memory because it dared to remind us that empathy and humor can help mend the wounds of conflict, both on the battlefield and in our own lives. If the stories of these late cast members stir a memory or bring a smile, then their work continues to resonate. I invite you to share your own reflections. Did a particular performance touch your heart, or was there a favorite joke that still makes you chuckle? Their journeys remind us that although life can be fragile, creativity, compassion, and a well-timed laugh can echo for decades, just like the unforgettable legacy of MASH.